everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making this fabulous The Fur Chapeau. This is so fabulous, so beautiful. It is such an easy pattern, but we're using different types of yarn, so it is a little bit more challenging because of the type of yarn we're using. It's kind of difficult to see stitches, but this turned out to be so fabulous. I can't stop saying fabulous because it's awesome, and it's a warm, thick hat. I'll get into the supplies we need, and then I'll get into some frequently asked questions, and then we'll get into making the fur chapeau. So the supplies we're going to need, the yarn specifically, I'm using 3 different yarns. We're using 3 strands at the same time into 1 strand, and these are the 3 yarns I'm using for our main color. Here is homespun thick and quick, and the specific color is Edwardian. This is a gray, charcoaly gray color, and it is very, very soft, and it'll be just perfect around the ears and on the head. It's so soft. The second one along with that is Red Heart Super Saver. This is in charcoal, the color charcoal. And this, actually the Lion brand Edwardian homespun thick and quick yarn is a bulky yarn, okay? It is a super bulky yarn at size 6, so it is a really thick yarn. So if you don't have the homespun yarn, you want a bulky yarn. You can do any style of bulky size 6 or even a size 5 yarn, and that's totally fine. And I didn't use the whole skein, but I did use majority of it. So you'll want, let's see here, how much is this one? It does not say. There it is. 160 yards of yarn on the skein, and I did not use the full thing, so probably about 100 yards, I would say, on this yarn. And then for the Red Heart Super Saver yarn, this is a size 4 medium yarn. And I'm trying to find where that says that. There it is. Size 4 medium. So you're going to want a worsted weight or a double knitting yarn thickness for your second color. For your worsted weight for the acrylic plain style of yarn. This yarn I'm using because it is easier to see the stitches with this yarn along with the homespun yarn, so that's why I'm using them together. And this one is in charcoal, and again, I didn't use the full skein. I didn't even use half of the skein, so probably same, about 100 yards for this yarn as well. And then to give it a little extra oomph, I did add some fun fur. I know a lot of you really like to use this eyelash style fur yarn, and this is a Lion brand yarn, Fun Fur, and you can use eyelash also. I think that's with a Red Heart brand or any type of furry yarn, but this one is really thin actually. It's just got a lot of fur to it. Let's see what size this came. It says it's a bulky yarn because of the eyelash style, but it's actually very thin with the string inside here that we will be crocheting with. So that is the fur yarn, and again, I didn't use a whole lot of this. This says 57 yards. I did end up using 1 full skein and part of another skein, so I didn't use actually a whole lot of that because actually this fur yarn was only going to be used in the main part of the hat, but the strands on the tassels on the side and the pom on the top of the hat do not use the fur. But if you want to, you can add the fur to the tassels on the side, to the pom on the top. That is creator's choice, and you can use the fur in whatever way you want. But in this project, we are using the 3 strands at the same time, so it is a thicker style, and so with using thicker yarn, we are going to be using a bigger hook. So the size hook we're going to use is an L hook, which is 8 millimeters. And if you want to go up to a 10 millimeter hook, you can totally do that. Or if you even want to go down a hook size to make this hat smaller, you can use a 6.5 millimeter hook, which is a K hook. And but for me, that was a little more difficult because of the 3 strands at the same time. It was hard to hook on all 3 strands with the K hook. But you can definitely try it, and your stitches will be a little bit tighter. But I'm using the L hook today for this demonstration. You're also going to need a scissors and a yarn needle to cut your yarn, sew in some ends and sew things on and stuff like that. And I'm making a pom at the top of my hat, so I am using these 2 pieces of cardboard to make the pom. But there are legit pom makers out there. You can buy a pom maker and probably it'll be an easier process to make your pom, but I'm just using 2 pieces of cardboard and I'll make my pom, and I show you exactly how to do that. So now for frequently asked questions, how to make this a different size. This hat is going to fit me. It is an adult women's size hat, and it's going to be thick on me, so it's going to be actually a little bit looser on me to be more comfortable. So it will fit any adult or teen size. Now if you want to make it for a child, you can end your increase on round 3 and then hop to the instructions for rounds 5 through 10. And you can also make this a little bit shorter or a little bit longer depending on the size you need. And I'll put a size chart for hats on my website, YARNutopia.com, so you can go by measurements, because this hat is about 9 inches from the top of the crown to the rim where the eyebrows will be. But these do have ear flaps, so we are going to be making ear flaps on this, so this will cover the ears, and then these tassels come down the side. So that's how big this is. And then around the head, the circumference is about 22 inches, which is around my head. That's how big my head is. So that will fit an adult size. But again, you can make this smaller if you need to. Just follow the instructions for measurements. Check the notes section of my website for the written pattern. You'll get all the information about sizing and all the supplies we need. Everything I just said will be in the notes and the material section of this pattern, and that link to the pattern is in the description of this video. And speaking of the description of this video, it also has the link to my Facebook and Instagram. So if you make this or make any of my patterns through YARNutopia, make sure to share your photos online. I would absolutely love to see your pictures on the Facebook. Join the conversation on Facebook. I ask some questions frequently about crochet and what you like to do in crochet. And also on Instagram, make sure you hashtag YARNutopia so I can see your beautiful work. I'll comment on my favorites, like all your photos. This one is just so fuzzy and furry and thick, and it was a very quick project too. I made it in an afternoon, so it's very fun. And also, I have to say a big, huge thank you to my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time to make this video with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for every single one of our videos here at YARNutopia. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel so you can get that update on when he posts our next video. So now let's just get started and make the fur chapeau. Alright, let's start with the 3 strands of yarn. You want the furry yarn, the bulky yarn, and the regular worsted weight yarn. So I'm using the Red Heart Super Saver yarn in charcoal, the homespun Lion Brand yarn in Edwardian, and then the Fun Fur Lion Brand yarn in lava. So those are the 3 strands I'm using. I'm going to put them all 3 together like this. You can even twist it if you want to make it all in one. And then we're going to make a slip knot. So take your short end, okay, put it over your long end, okay, all 3 strands, then fold this down like this over your long end, and then pull all 3 strands through that loop. Okay, and then pull tight. So there is a slip knot. Make sure you have all 3 strands on there. 1, 2, 3. We have them all in there. We're going to insert our hook right into that loop and then pull that tighter. There we go. And now we can begin. So let's start off by chaining 3. So yarn over and pull through. 1, yarn over, pull through. 2, and again 3. So we have 3 chains. Now we're in this first chain way over here. We are going to put 9 double crochets. So the loop on your hook isn't a chain. It's we're going to work in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you can see here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. And if you need to, feel around for them. These are pretty big stitches, so you can feel around for that. We're going to go in this first one here, yarn over, we're going to make double crochets, so yarn over, go into that first chain right next to your slip knot, right in here, okay, under all 3 strands, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, so there's 1 and 2. Just like that. And there should be 2 loops, 1 and 2 on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Okay, and there's a double crochet. So we have to make 9 in that same chain. So that was 1, so yarn over, go back into that chain, and by now it should stretch out just a little bit so you can kind of see it right there. So yarn over, go into there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through these other 2 loops on your hook. Okay, making sure you have all 3 strands on at the same time. We're using those as 1. Okay, I'm going to put my finger in this loop to kind of guide myself where it is. So again, another double crochet, yarn over, go into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so that was my 3rd double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Here's 4. Okay, it's going to be kind of hard to see these stitches, but that's 4. Okay, get this in here. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 5. Here's 6. Okay, and I'm kind of turning this as I go. Okay, here's 7. And 8. And last one here is 9. Okay, so we have 9 double crochets in that same stitch there in the center, so you can see that there. And then what we're going to do is attach to the beginning. So if you need to, feel out 9 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and if you can see up here if you can feel for it, awesome. If not, go in between the posts. Okay, so feel between the posts here. You can go in between there to slip stitch, or you can go into the actual first double crochet stitch right here. And then yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook for a slip stitch. So that closes round 1. And that is round 1, it's just a circle. Okay, it doesn't look crocheted because it's a very textured, but it looks really cool and fuzzy and furry. So now we can go on to round 2 right away. We are going to chain up 2, 1 and 2. That does not count as anything though, so don't even feel for that. If you do feel for that when you are coming back around, just skip over that, okay? And I'm going to work in the stitches because I can kind of see my stitches. Here is 1, here is 2, okay, here is 3, here's 4. So you can kind of see the stitches, and we're going to work in the stitches now. If you cannot see your stitches, you can work in between the posts, okay, in between, and there should be 9 spaces in between these posts. If you need to go through there, those are bigger gaps. So I'm just going to work into my stitches though. So in this first stitch that we just slip stitched into right here and chained up 2 in, we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. So yarn over, go back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, having that bigger hook really helps getting through those 3 strands at the same time. So again, we're going to yarn over, go back into that same stitch, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops on your hook. Okay, so we just put 2 double crochets in that first stitch. So hopping to the very next stitch right here, we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. Okay, and we're just going to put 2 double crochets into each stitch around. So it is going to have 18 double crochets. See, I'm going into this next stitch now. We're going to have 18 double crochets after round 2. Okay, just by putting 2 double crochets into, oopsie, here's some random fuzz. There we go. We're putting 2 double crochets into each stitch, sorry. So I'm just going to do that all the way around. I'll have 18 double crochets at the end of this round. Just kind of feel around for it if you're using this homespun yarn. Just really feel for where your stitches need to go. I'll meet you up for round 3. Alright, so I have my 18 double crochets around, so this is what it should look like. We have to close up this round here, and if you can see right here is our first double crochet stitch. You can kind of feel out for it. If you can feel your first chain up 2, which is right here, here's chain 1, here's chain 2, we're not going to attach to that. So this first stitch, which is right here, is where we're going to attach. Okay, and if you can feel your first double crochet stitch right here, okay, this is my first double crochet stitch. Right above that is where the top of the stitch is, and that's where I'm going to slip stitch. So I'm going to go into that stitch just like that, then yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook. Okay, and there's your slip stitch, and that closes round 2. So going on to round 3 now, this is what it should look like, starting to look like a hat, sort of. We're going to chain up 2, 1 and 2, and now in the very first stitch that we just slip stitched into and chained up 2 in right here, we are going to put 2 double crochets in there. So yarn over, go in, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And again, yarn over, go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, all the while we're keeping all 3 strands together as one. Okay, so then in the very next stitch, we're only putting 1 double crochet in the very next stitch. So right here, 1 double crochet in there, just like that. And then we're going to repeat that sequence. So in the next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then the next stitch is only going to get 1 double crochet. Okay, and use your fingers, to feel around where those stitches are exactly. Okay, so we have 2 double crochets in this stitch, 1 double crochet in this stitch. So in this next stitch here, we're going to put 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Okay, and then the next stitch right here is going to just get 1 double crochet. And then the next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets. And the stitch after that is only going to get 1. So we're just going to repeat that sequence all the way around. At the end of round 3, we are going to have 27 double crochets. So I'll meet you up and we'll go on to round 4 together. Alright, so this is what your piece should look like. I have 27 stitches around, 27 double crochets, so we have to close up this right here. And just like the last round, we're going to skip over this chain up 2 here, and you can see my first stitch right here, and that's where I'm going to go in and slip stitch. Okay, so I'm going to go into the first double crochet stitch, and then I'm going to take all 3 strands, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Just like that. So that closes round 3. Going on to the next round, round 4, we are going to chain up to 1 and 2. Again, that does not count as anything. In that same stitch that we just slip stitched into and chained up 2 in, we are going to put 2 double crochets. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And again, another double crochet in there. And then in the next 2 stitches, we're only going to put 1 double crochet in each one of these. So in this very next stitch right here, just put 1 double crochet. And then in the stitch after that, right here, we're going to put 1 double crochet. And then we're going to just repeat that sequence. So in the next stitch right here, we're going to put 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And then in the next stitch after that, we're only going to put 1 double crochet. And then the stitch after that only gets 1 double crochet as well. Okay, and then we're just repeating our sequence. So in the next stitch, we put 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, Okay, so you can see both of them in that one stitch. 1 and 2 all just in that one stitch, and then this next stitch and this next stitch here, we're going to put 1 double crochet in each one of those. So 1, and the next stitch 1. Okay, so just repeat that all the way around. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and repeat. At the end of this round, round 4, you'll have 36 double crochets, so I'll meet you up for round 5. Alright, just finished round 4, so now I have 36 double crochets around, and this is going to be a good size for the crown of my head. This will fit an adult person for 4 rounds, so it's like 8 inches across in diameter, so that should be a good crown of the head. If you wanted a smaller head, smaller hat, just end after round 3 and just go on to round 5 instructions. So we are going to, again, slip stitch to the first double crochet right here, so skip this chain up 2, okay, go right next to it into this double crochet stitch. Right there, go in, yarn over, and pull through that loop on your hook, and that's a slip stitch. Pull tight. There we go. So now going on to round 5 is going to be worked in the back loops only, and what we're going to do is chain up 2, 1 and 2, and in the back loop of every stitch around, we're going to put 1 double crochet. So usually we'll go through both loops here. This is the front loop, and then this is the back loop. Okay, so front loop, and then back loop. We usually go through both loops like this. Okay, both loops, here's both loops. Okay, and it is kind of difficult to see with the all 3 strands at the same time, but we're going to be working in the back loops only for round 5 here. So you can see here, back loop, okay? So kind of just feel around for it. We are going to go into this first stitch here that we just slip stitched into and chained up 2 in. So we're going to yarn over, go into the back loop only, okay? It should just be 3 strands of yarn, okay? And if you can feel around for them, the homespun, the fun fur, and the super saver. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay? Yarn over, go into the next stitch, back loop only, and work a double crochet. Okay, so we're not increasing in this round at all. We are just putting 1 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch around for a same total, 36 double crochets. Okay, but the back loop, working in that back loop will allow this to have more of that cylinder shape, which is exactly what we want. So it'll give a more pronounced edge, a more pronounced siding of this hat design, and that's what we want. If you did not want that design, if you want more of a basic hat design that just flows right into the sides, then you can work through both loops just like a normal hat, and that would be totally fine. But for this round, round 5, I'm just going to work 1 double crochet in the back loop only of every stitch around, and then I'll just meet you up for round 6. Alright, I just double crocheted in that back loop there. You can kind of see that little rib there along here. That is because we worked in the back loop, so that rib kind of pops out and it gives a nice flat look to the top of the hat, which is nice. It's kind of what we want in this design. So now going on to rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 6 through 10 we are, well, first let's slip stitch to the first stitch like I showed you in every other round here. Just go into the first double crochet, so skip over that chain up 2 there, go into the first double crochet, and you can go under both loops at this point. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And now rounds 6 through 10, or round 11 even if you want to make it longer, you can chain up 2, and then now we can work through both loops. So in this very first one that we just slip stitched into and chained up 2 in, we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, and working in both loops now, so you can kind of feel around for it, and double crochet, one double crochet in each stitch around, and then slip stitch to the first double crochet like I showed you, and then chain up 2 and go on to the next round, just putting one double crochet in each stitch around. And I'm going to do that now for rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so 5 rounds. And if you want to, you can go up to round 11 if you want to make this longer, but we are going to be making ear flaps after this. So I'm going to do round 10, and then once I finish round 10, so I'm going to do round 6 through 10, and once I finish round 10, I will show you how to do the ear flaps. Alright, I just finished round 10, so this is what it should look like. I'm just lip stitching to the beginning here. I'm going to pull this out so I can show you here. This is kind of what it should look like. You want the top part of your hat to be flat, and then that rib there gives it, you can see that rib along that line for round 5 when we worked in the back loop. You can see that there, and that's where that should flatten out across the top there. Okay, so this is what it should look like. It looks really cool and fuzzy now. So now, actually it kind of looks like a basket. I mean, if you want to fasten off here, you can have a little furry basket. That'd be kind of cute, but we're making this into a hat. So what we're going to do is make ear flaps at this point. So we're going to chain up 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to double crochet in 8 stitches. So in this very first stitch right here, yarn over, go into the same stitch that we just slip stitched in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's 1. Next stitch is our second. Okay, 8 stitches in total. So 1, 2, next stitch is 3. Next stitch is 4, here's 5, and 6, 7, and last one here, 8. Okay, leave the rest of the stitches on this round unworked. Okay, we're going to chain up 2 and turn our work around, so now we're looking at the inside of our hat, and we're going to decrease. Do a double crochet decrease. So over these first 2 stitches here, okay, this chain up 2 doesn't count as anything. So yarn over, go into the very first stitch, okay, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, but leave those last 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook. So now there should be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, that's a double crochet decrease. We just made these 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Now we're going to double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So 1, next stitch 2, next stitch 3, and the next stitch is 4. There should be 2 stitches left. We are going to double crochet these last 2 stitches together. So yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, hold those 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into the last stitch on this row, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook. So now we'll have 3 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And there's your double crochet decrease. So on row 2 of your ear flap, you should have 6 stitches in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain up 2 and go on to row 3. Turn your work. Okay, row 3 of this first ear flap, we are going to double crochet these 2 together. So just like I showed you, yarn over, go into the very first stitch right here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and there should be 2 stitches left. We are going to double crochet those last 2 stitches together. So yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the last stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and then chain up 2, turn your work. So now we're looking at the inside of the hat here. We are going to decrease again. So we're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. Okay, so double crochet decrease these 2 stitches together, these first 2 stitches, and then double crochet these last 2 stitches together. Okay, so this row will have 2 stitches in total. And then we're going to fasten this up. So chain up one there, cut your yarn, and then continue to pull that all the way through and pull it tight, and that is fastened off. And there's 1 ear flap. Look at how that looks. Cool. So now what we're going to do to make the other ear flap, kind of fold this in half like this, kind of mark a stitch on this side here, going on this right side here. We're going to flip this upside down, kind of just hold a stitch here, count across here how many stitches you'll have to skip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to skip 10 stitches, and I'm going to go into the very next stitch here. Okay, and then we're going to grab all 3 strands of yarn and just hook that through, just like that. Hook it on the hook and pull it through. Okay, and then what we're going to do is chain up 2. 1 and 2. And that chain up 2 does not count as anything, so we are going to double crochet into that same stitch. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now what I'm going to have you do actually is it's exactly how we made the other ear flap. So at this point, rewind this to make like how I made the other ear flap. Rewind this video to see how I made that other ear flap and do it the same exact thing. So we're double crocheting in 8 stitches, and then we're going to decrease. Oopsie, I skipped a stitch here. We're going to decrease on each row until we get down to 2 stitches. And if you need to follow along with the written pattern, you can, but I'm just going to make this one exactly how I made the other one. Okay, I've already attached my yarn and we're just moving right along here. So just rewind this to see the other ear flap, make this one exactly the same, and once I finish this ear flap and fasten off, I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, when you finish this second ear flap, just chain 1 and cut that yarn just like that other ear flap. Pull that through and pull it tight, and then we're going to sew in our ends. I sewed in some of my ends already, but I'm just going to take my yarn needle and then yarn my needle with all 3 strands that I just cut, and then we're going to go underneath some of these stitches and just pull through. Okay, and just hide them underneath some of the stitches, just like that. Okay, and then stretch it out completely, and then cut any extra yarn. Careful with your scissors. And there it is. Awesome. So that's what the hat should look like right now. So now I just want to make some little strands coming down the ear flaps and make little palms on the end. So it's very simple. So I'm done using the fur, and I'm only going to be using the homespun and the Super Saver yarns. Okay, so we have the 2 strands here, and what I'm going to do is cut strands. I'm actually going to do this with my hands. I'm going to take both strands. If you want to measure these out to be like 36 or even 40-inch strands, you can, but I'm just going to use my arm length, what I feel is appropriate. And we're going to cut 12 strands in total. So these are 2 strands here. So we're going to stretch this out however long I want them. Okay, so that's 2, and then I'm going to take this and fold it in half here, just like that, and keep pulling to be the same length, and that's 4. Then grab this again. This is 6. Here's 8. here's 10, and here's 12. Okay, 12 strands in total. Then we're going to cut that. Okay, and then what we're going to do, you can see these are looped. Okay, we're going to cut them so they are strands. Be careful with your scissors though. Okay, cut them all so you have loose strands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then the other side as well. We're going to cut all these loops. Okay, oops, cut this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there's 12 strands here. Now we are going to take one end, one short end here. Okay, they are uneven and we will cut them to be even later. I'm going to wrap this like this around my finger here. And we're going to take our crochet hook and one ear flap and go in between these stitches, okay, right in the middle here. Hook on by that loop around your finger. Hook on all of those strands and then pull them through. Okay, and then pull through the short end just like that. Then what we want to do is take this end and make sure they line up. You can grab them both. Okay, make sure they're close to even and then stretch that so that your thing is even, just like that. And then we want to tie that in a knot. So wrap it around your hand, flip it, and then grab that strand, kind of like a slip knot, but we're pulling all the way through. Okay, and then pull tight with all the strands. Okay, and there's your knot. And we just want to make sure all the strands are pulled good. Oh, I have one loose, there we go. Okay, now you should have 24 strands because we had 12 and we just doubled them up. So count 2 of each like this. So one homespun and 1 super saver. So that's 2. Here's 4. Here's 6. And here's 8. We want 8 in each section because there should be 24 and we're going to do a braid of 3 strands. So here's one strand that has 8, okay, 4 super saver, 4 strands of homespun. That's one section. So then 2, here's 4, here's 6, and here's 8. Okay, and then there should be 8 of this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. So it'll be 8, 8, and 8. Okay, then we'll do, so there'll be 4 of each yarn. So 4 homespun and 4 super saver. 4 homespun, 4 super saver, 4 homespun, 4 super saver. Okay, in each of the 3 sections. Then we're going to braid this. So I'm going to put this one over the top of this one here. Okay, and then we're going to take this one and put it over the top of this one here. Okay, and we're going to pull tight. And we're just going to keep doing that. If you need to, there are video tutorials online on how to braid. You can follow along with video tutorials online how to braid, or just follow this video or pause it or rewind it. But I'm just going to braid this down just like this. until it is as long as I want it to be. Okay, and since it is homespun yarn and it's very fuzzy and furry, and you probably will not be able to tell that it is a braid, but that's okay. As long as it's a strand that looks cool, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just braiding this extremely long. Almost done here. When you're done and close to the end, we're going to tie this off in a knot. So to do that, we are going to take this now into one strand, wrap it around our hand, okay, and then twist this, and then pull all of that strand through that little circle there. Kind of like a slip knot, but we're pulling all the way through everything. Okay, and then you want to just pull it really tight, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to wait to cut this until I have the other side completely done because we want them to be even. So what I'm going to do is do the same exact thing, make long strands, make a braid on this other ear flap, and then once I have that done, we will go on to the next step of cutting this and then yeah, finishing off this hat. Alright, so I just finished braiding this down and I tied this knot, and I forgot to mention, when you're tying the second knot at the bottom here, you want to make sure that this lines up together, so these are even. So make sure that this knot lines up with this knot, your first knot, and they are the same length, and then we can line these two knots up and cut the uneven part down here. So we are going to just choose a length. Okay, and then kind of just cut it like a hairdresser, I guess. Just pinch them between your fingers. Be careful with the scissors and just cut straight across, just like that. And then there you have your cute little tassels. Awesome. Now the very last thing I wanted to do is make a pom for the top of this hat. But if you don't want a pom and you just want a nice thick fuzzy hat, you can end it here and have a lovely hat creation. So good job. But I'm just going to do one more thing and make a pom at the top. So what I have, there are legit pom makers out there that you can buy and make. But I'm just super cheap, and I'm just going to cut these two pieces of cardboard here, just like this. Okay, so they look like circles, and then I cut a little slit here and then a circle inside. Okay, and you can make these as big or small as you want, depending on how big of a pom you want. And what we're going to do is put these two disc looking things together like this, and then I'm going to take my homespun yarn, my Lion Brand homespun in Edwardian, and I'm going to make my pom with that. If you have a different color yarn that you want a different colored pom, you can do that. Any type of yarn would work for this. But what I'm going to do is just wrap this. I'm actually going to start from the outside here. Okay, so I have that on the outside, and I'm going to take this long strand and just wrap. Okay, and I'm going to wrap a lot. Okay, I'm going to wrap around here, I'm going to go all the way to the other side, and then I'm going to come back around. So it's going to be a very, very thick pom. And you can decide how thick you want your pom to be, but I'm just going to wrap this, and then obviously it's not going to look like a pom on this thing. We're going to cut this yarn and make it a pom. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm just going to keep wrapping this until I'm satisfied with the amount of yarn wrapped. Like I said, I'm going to come all the way around here, and then I'm going to come all the way back, just wrapping as much as I can. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll meet you up when I'm about to cut this yarn. Alright, so I have it wrapped. I just wrapped all the way around and then back around, so I'm here now, and I'm going to cut this yarn right there. It's okay if it's a little bit longer. That just knows that, or that just is a guide that I ended there, but I can cut that even shorter later. And then what I'm going to do is take about 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches of strand, and I'm just going to have it loose on this side, and I'm going to take this part here and then slide it in between the 2 pieces of cardboard at the edge here. Okay, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is leave this strand, okay, this longer strand, just leave it there. And then this strand, while I'm cutting the yarn, I'm going to strand this along this edge here, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to cut, be careful not to cut this strand, okay, that's going to be our tie-off strand. But we're going to go in between the 2 pieces of cardboard and we're going to snip. Now be careful with your scissors not to snip your fingers along the trail. I have actually done that before where my finger was right here and I was cutting and I snipped my finger. So just be careful with that. But we're going to just cut along between the 2 pieces of cardboard. And then this long strand here, we're going to trail along inside there. Okay, just that just keeps everything together, and it's nice to work this on a flat surface so you can kind of push everything down so that nothing, you know, those little strands that you're cutting don't fly everywhere. So, and this part is a little tedious because the 2 pieces of cardboard are squeezed together, so you want to make sure that your scissors can fit in between there. And there's a really long strand there. You just pull out whatever doesn't look good. And then take this strand and kind of trail it along here. Make sure not to cut that. Alright, we're almost done here. This pom is going to be so thick and fluffy. Here we go. Alright, now this strand is going to be trailed all the way around. Okay, so we have our 2 long strands here. So I'm going to cut this other strand because that was attached to my ball. So now this is what we have, what it looks like. Okay, now you want to make sure not to remove the cardboard quite yet. What we're going to do is, you can see in the inside here there's that flat area. Okay, I'm going to tie these 2 long strands in a knot to tie that all tight. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that and then pull it really tight, but not too tight where it tears your yarn. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is flip this around to the other side, and then I'm going to bring these 2 strands this way. Okay, this is just something I do. I don't really know if that's the right way to make a pom, but I'm going to tie these in a knot as well on this side. Okay, and I'm actually going to tie a triple knot. So I'm going to do 1, pull tight, then again, 2, pull really tight, and a 3rd one, really tight. Okay, and now it's safe to remove the cardboard. You can see there's my 3 knots. Okay, and then on the other side there's my little tiny one. Just I did a 1 knot on that side. Okay, so I'm removing the cardboard. So this is what it should look like. Not really looking good right now, but we will make this look like a good pom. So what we need to do is just kind of fluff it out, shake it out, okay? And then we have some odd looking pieces here. We're just going to take our scissors and give it a little haircut. And just kind of look around, see where it's uneven, if there's some really longer pieces. Okay, you don't want to cut too much though, because then it'll be too small of a pom, and you want a big fluffy pom. But just be careful with your scissors. I keep saying that because I've cut myself many times with these scissors. Alright, I think that's good. Shake it out. Make sure all the fuzziness gets off of it. Pat it down, make it look nice and round. That's a cute pom. Awesome. Now what we need to do is just attach this to our hat. So grab the hat, and at the very top, around round 1, we are going to, actually the stitches are pretty thick. You can see round 1 is right here, okay, right there. I'm just going to take one strand in this side, and then one strand across the center. See, I pulled that one through there. So then I'll pull one through here, the other strand. Okay, so pull them inside, pull tight. Awesome. Then we're going to turn this inside out. So we have our 2 strands, and we're just going to tie a triple knot. Just like that. And then we're going to take our yarn needle, yarn our needle with those 2 strands. Almost finished. There we go. And then just sew these in underneath the stitches on the inside of your hat. Okay, I'm obviously doing this a little bit faster for the camera, but you can, you know, take your time and sew this in and make it look really good. Just, that's the key, is it's tedious, so take your time. Then trim the rest of that, put this back outside, right? Play around with the pom a little bit, and there you have it. That's so cute. What a cute, you know, basic hat design, but it has the elements of the fur and the fuzziness and the thick yarn and the color. Just everything makes it look so much more to it. It just gives it more of an oomph to it. It looks awesome. So thank you so much for watching and learning how to make the fur chapeau. I had so much fun making it, and it's so fuzzy and warm, and I can't wait to wear it outside. It's a very windy day today, so I think I'm going to wear it outside and stay very warm here in Wisconsin. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Make sure to share your photos on the Facebook and Instagram, #YARNutopia. I'll see you next time. Happy hooking!